Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Financial Fitness Friday. A couple things I want to go over with you guys. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about the government shutdown, and then two, I want to talk a little bit about the economy and what I see happening. Okay, so that's weird. Okay, I like this full screen setup. All right, so let's talk about this shutdown. It's really aggravating. Okay, because I don't want to get into the politics of, all right, one side shutting it down because they want to give illegals free healthcare. I don't think anyone's on board with that. All right. And if they're doing that, and that's really the reason they're doing that, they should all get voted out of office immediately. Okay.
All sides.
But yeah, both. Well, anyone that's voting for it. Okay. Anyone that's voting for it. Because that's problematic. Two, the Obamacare healthcare was always bullshit. It actually made everyone's access to health insurance much harder, and you actually had to pay way more. Okay, so that was never a good policy.
Yeah, I got penalized for that too, by the way, which was bullshit. A lot.
Yeah, I remember having to fill out those forms proving that you had it on your tax return.
Yeah.
Right. That was insane to me. Insane.
Yeah. They let me slide with it. It was the year I got married that they brought it in 2014, and they were going to penalize me. But then there was a loophole that if you had it at some point in the year, and I literally only had it for like 2 months, and they let it slide, or else they send me like a penalty for like almost $2,000 or something.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I have health insurance, but I never go to the doctor. I go once a year, and I don't listen to anything they say. I don't take anything that they tell me to take. Like,
just get me my blood work.
Yeah, just get me my blood work. That's it. I'll do the rest. That's neither here nor there. Here's where I have a problem with the shutdown. So our military members are missing paychecks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The families that are on food stamps or WIC are not going to have the same type of benefits. The VA their service is going to get disrupted. So our veterans, okay, are not going to get the same access to things that they normally do. You know who is getting paychecks? Congress. Everyone that voted for this still gets paid. That's disgusting. Okay. You know who else still gets all the money? That Israel. Okay. Israel still gets every dime, and all the foreign aid. Okay. Everybody still gets their foreign aid. So we won't give our military a paycheck. We won't provide for our veterans and our families in need here. But we will continue to ship money overseas, and the people that voted for this will still get there. And they don't make bad money, guys. They make $200,000, let alone all the insider trading. So that is crazy to me. All right, and here's my thing. You know, Trump came in and talked about, oh, we're gonna get away with taxes, do away with taxes, and we're gonna have tariffs again. I'm all for the tariffs. Why am I still paying taxes?
Yeah.
Okay. This is, dude, yes, exactly. This is all very, very problematic. I think all foreign aid should go out the window. Literally. I don't care who it's to. I think everything should be fixed here first. I don't think we should be paying any taxes. Okay. And I think our military should be taken care of way better. Also, if we are going to do that, we can afford to pay teachers more so we don't get these crazies in there. And maybe we could provide some school security too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why don't we fix everything here? Okay, because that's what I wanted. That's what I voted for. And it's not happening. All right. That's a problem. Here's my other problem. And this is a bigger problem. And this is really why I led with all this on Financial Fitness Friday. If you guys have looked at any of the job numbers, they've all been revised down. And actually, we had negative job growth for the first time once the numbers were revised. We went from adding, I think, 60 or 70,000 jobs to the economy got rid of 3,000 jobs. All right. If you look at personal debt levels, they are at the highest total amount ever. Credit card debt, consumer debt, student debt. There's a giant debt bubble. No one's talking about that. That's going to pop. That means people can't afford their day-to-day stuff. That means people can't pay down their debt. There was actually a statistic came out that people with 700 credit scores are actually starting to have trouble paying their debt for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you think about the economy contracting and you think about the levels of debt that we have, those two things add up to a recession or a depression. Okay. That means stuff is really not going on all that well. All right. Now, on top of that, the highest unemployment segment of the market right now is actually recent college grads. It's over 10%. That is insane. So imagine you just went to school for 4 years, and I'm not even saying an expensive college. Let's just say middle of the road, 20,000 a year, which, by the way, guys, that's most state colleges. Okay. So you just dropped $80,000 on college and you can't find a job. Now, why is this? Well, my theory and what I think is happening, because you're seeing mass layoffs everywhere. And by the way, they're talking about 100,000 government workers being fired during a shutdown. I don't want to see anybody fired, but if we're trimming costs, that's great. But on the flip side, now you just added 100,000 people to these numbers. Okay. You just added 100,000 people that are going to be looking for jobs. And what's actually going on? Well, I think what's actually going on is companies are adapting and they're getting more proficient with using AI. And that's cutting out a lot of the entry-level jobs, the jobs that you would need to start learning an industry. I'll give you guys an example. When I started in business financing, okay, I left Wall Street. I was only on Wall Street for 8 months. And when I did that, I actually started as an underwriter. That's a very entry-level job. I was getting paid $35,000 a year, looking at files, saying yes or no. All right. And then I worked my way up. Well, if companies are using algorithms and if companies are using AI to do that job, I don't learn the insides and inside outs of small business. I don't learn how to look at a business and say, hey, is this a credit-worthy business? Is this a credit-worthy person or not? Okay. And then I certainly don't build integrated. I certainly don't build integrated factors. I don't help thousands of people grow their business. You guys understand the trickle down and the waterfall effect here? Okay. This is bad news. Dave, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, everything's in the numbers, bro. Like the numbers don't lie. And you and I were talking a little bit on here before. Obviously, people are trying to buy homes, especially in my area. And I think one of the reasons is I don't think there's a big influx of people that want to buy. One of the things that a lot of people actually talk about here locally is that the rents have gone up astronomically.
Mm-hmm.
So
people continue to happen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it has to. So like, I don't think, and I always see on these freaking channels of just people complaining, oh, slumlord, you're just making money. And all. That's not how it works, guys. Like they have most people in real estate, like they're not raking it in on their cash flow. Like it's covering, a lot of it's covering the operating expenses to this.
No, that's not true, bro. I have properties. I'm just telling you, I don't invest in a property unless it's going to kick off a decent amount of cash flow. I've never done one property at a break-even level. You can't.
Not at a break-even level, but like if you're me, if you have one door and if it's pulling in maybe $500 or $1,000 total, like for that door, okay,
yeah,
maybe it's one thing to cover the note, but you have maintenance costs, you have other expenses with that. So how much is left at the end of the month? You know what I mean? So of course you don't want to break even, and a lot of people aren't. But the whole point is, it's hey guys, this stuff still costs money, even at a break-even level. Shit's going to be high. It's just the way it is. You're not going to have an apartment here for $800 or $1,000 anymore. Almost the median rent here is almost about $2,000 a month. And there's some luxury stuff that we have that is crazy, but and it's pricing people out that have lived in areas for 20, 30 years. But and so now it's causing the buyer effect because it's actually cheaper, at least cheaper for people to buy. but then they have their barrier of entry. They got credit problems. Some of them are looking for grants for down money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like there is a whole trickle down effect. It's not that, hey, all of a sudden there's all these home buyers. It's people don't really have a choice. It's either buy a house because they can't afford the rent, and it's actually credit wise harder to get a rental than it is an FHA loan, or freaking live in the woods or live in the woods. Like
or like group living situations, right? So like 4 people going in on a property, or 3 people going in on a property. I got to tell you something. For people that are looking to get into there and actually buy their first house, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice I could ever give you. Okay. And Dave, you should be saying this at anywhere you're speaking, because this is the truth. And this is how I did it for the most part. You don't go out and you don't get like a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Like I get that's the American dream, but that's the dumb American dream. Okay. The right way to do it is you go out and you get a duplex, a triplex, or a quad. Okay. Because you can still use an FHA loan for that, meaning that's 3 to 5% down. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to live in one of those units. You might live in a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or probably a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, depending on where it is and what type of property. And then you're going to rent out everything else. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to sit in that for a fucking year. Okay. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to go out and buy another one a year later. Okay. Because now you got cash flow. Okay. You're going to do it. You're going to repeat that process. I'd repeat that process 3-4 times. And then that's when you go out and get your 3-2, or you get a much nicer house. All right. And people don't want to live below their means and do shit like that because they don't want to live with other people. But guess what? The person that does that built generational wealth. You know why? Because now you have 3 or 4 properties that are paying for themselves. Okay. These properties are paying for themselves and bringing you in cash flow. And that's how you win at life. Okay. Here's another thing I'll tell you. If in New York, if Mandani wins, and I do think that's a very high likelihood. Okay. If you look at the numbers,
it ain't looking good.
It's not looking good. You will see an explosion again in Florida and in a lot of these red states.
Or my area where everybody's coming.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't be going. I'd be getting out of the Northeast because a lot of the politics, it's.
Well, luckily,
if you're leaving New York for those reasons, okay, I'm not going to your area.
Yeah, okay. But you'd be surprised. Like it actually changed mostly red because of that recently. And if there is a blue shift, it's usually because of Philly or Pittsburgh.
Listen, I get that. New York's the same way. The only reason I would think that is because it does cost way more money to move down to Florida, okay, than it does to drive to Pennsylvania and move.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you as someone that did it. And here's how I'm playing this, right? I think I still have 3 properties in New York. I just sold one sold the 4th one I had in New York. I am trying to get rid of all those properties before the end of the year. I am moving all that money down here. And guys, this is why politics matter to a degree, okay? Because money is going to flow where it has the least restrictions. Money is going to flow where it has the most opportunity and the most growth, okay? I had at one point, I think 8 properties in New York, okay? 8. I have gotten rid of 60% of them. And by the end of the year, I'm going to try to get rid of all of them. The only one I may keep is the house that I grew up in. And that's for sentimental reasons and because I still have family living there. Okay. Yeah. So that shows you what happens when you have these types of changes and these types of shocks. Here's the other thing that people don't realize. I moved 3 companies out of New York. Those 3 companies probably had 12 to 15 jobs, okay, that were local. I have way more people that are in other positions all over the country, okay? So now you have 15 good paying jobs that left with me. You guys understand how important and impactful this stuff is? This stuff matters. And I'm a little guy, okay? I'm not I don't have massive companies. Okay. I don't think you would say I don't even think they'd be on the radar. Okay. But think about somebody that has a company that might employ 100 people.
Like the NFL.
Yeah. Well, the NFL employs way more than 100 people, dumbass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But their headquarters is on Park Avenue, man. Like you're probably going to see a mass exodus of businesses, and the NFL doesn't like to lose money. So, you know, I could see the NFL leaving New York like right away.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell being like, guys, we're out of here.
And then let's think about what happens. Okay. That happens. And then they have to get a certain amount of tax revenues, right? So if there's none of the quote unquote rich people to tax, who covers that? The people that can't afford it.
Yep.
All right. This is life. Okay. This is just basic general stuff. And the fact that nobody picks up on this or follows this at all kills me. And here's the thing. Here's what really bothers me. If everyone spoke out, this could change. Nobody likes seeing what's going on overseas. Okay. Everyone can speak out about that. Nobody likes getting taxed to death. All right. I can tell you that what will make me leave this country and operate my companies remotely is if they try to do any type of enforceable digital ID.
Mm-hmm.
As soon, guys, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. If you know me and you know my personal life in any way, shape, or form, okay, if they were to do that, make you have a certain ID or anything wearable or implanted in you, like they just did, I believe, in Switzerland or Sweden. No, I think it was Sweden, and it just narrowly passed. They took a vote 4 years ago, and it failed miserably. Okay, they retook the vote, and it just passed. And now these guys are wearing chips. Yeah. Okay, the mark of the beast. And everything is attached to that because the next thing they do is a central bank digital currency and a social credit system, just like they do in China. And then they put you in 15-minute cities, and if you do anything like jaywalk, you can get severely hammered by that. Okay? If they do that, I am out. I pull everything. I would not be here. All right? The average person, I don't think could do that. All right? So these are the things that you have to speak up on and fight. In the UK, they're trying to enforce the brick card, which is just a digital ID, and it is failing miserably. Yep. Okay, there is political upheaval in France, in the UK right now. Okay, you guys have to pay attention because they do try this stuff a little bit sooner. I love seeing what I saw in Nepal. You guys know what happened in Nepal?
An uprising.
Dude, an uprising. They tried to ban social media in Nepal because they thought the younger generation was sharing too much information. Yep. And they tried to ban it in Nepal. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, everybody got
the younger generation ripped all the politicians out of their homes. They killed some of them.
Okay. And you know where they did that on? Fucking Discord.
Yep. They dragged them through the streets, guys. And then they had to put in a new prime minister. Okay. I'm not saying we're there yet, but man, I would feel pretty good about that. Okay. We need a government run by the people, for the people, not for foreign governments, not to send our money elsewhere. Take care of here. Okay. Take care of our people. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Okay. There really isn't. Everyone here cares about each other. We want to take care of each other. I saw a video the other day. Okay. And this is the video that they fear the most. It was a couple black dudes and a couple white dudes in Waffle House. Do you know the video I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know exactly what video.
So a song came on.
We have one of the best Waffle Houses in the country right here.
Yeah, bro. And dude, that somebody was playing. I think it was a Wiz Khalifa song. I'm not into rap, but you know what? This was an awesome video. Okay, that song came on a Waffle House, and dude, there's a bunch of black dudes, a bunch of white dudes. Everyone's jamming out and going crazy and loving it. There's no hate between people here, guys.
No, there's not.
Okay, that narrative is so manufactured. All right. And when everyone gets together, all right, and realizes that we've been constantly getting played left, right, black, white, gay, straight, all these different things. When everyone comes together, we actually look at what the real problem is. And the real problem is that there's a lot of people at the top that are making laws, decisions that are in their best interest and not ours. And that is not a left or right thing, guys. Okay, I will call it 100% how I see it. Okay, I got a lot of problems with this administration. I had way more with the last administration. Okay, it's okay to say that. It's okay to have these talks. It's kind of crazy. What were the three things that growing up that we were told never to talk about?
Politics, money, and religion.
Politics, money, and religion. Why? Why do you think that is?
Because it's old school, man. They don't want you to talk about it. And then obviously, let's be real, man. Like there's for the last 100 years, that's the whole narrative. After World War II and Eisenhower's speech, the war machine, all that crazy stuff, it takes decades to unravel a plan and put it in place like that.
I hear you, but I don't think there's anything more important to talk about than God. And you
No,
know what? Politics is a close second because that's how we all operate and function as a society. And money is a big deal too, because if you don't know about it, it's very hard to win at this game. Okay, because that's what it is, guys. It's a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not to go back to go back to Charlie Kirk a little bit. When you're saying things are changing, I think number one, that changed the whole dynamic with spirituality and teachings of Christianity because
Yeah.
I think Joe Rogan's show announced it or something that Charlie Kirk and or the Gospels, it was on modern history, the most looked up thing on the internet at that point in time. And it was the most that somebody ever researched the Bible or the gospel or all things that stem from Charlie Kirk. Number one. Number two, with people kind of waking up, like, the whole Charlie Kirk incident, people like hearing all this stuff that they're talking about him. Well, people are actually looking into it, right? And are like doing research. So it's like, hey, man, we just watched like 50 hours of this stuff. And it's like, none of this shit's true, man. Like he's a racist. Like there's nothing racism in there. He doesn't like women. There's nothing with women in there. And it's like, you can't just watch a soundbite anymore and just be like, hey, man, this guy said this for 7 seconds. Completely when there's a whole 5 or 6 minute context of it and you're not getting the whole thing. And I think people are understanding, well, wait a minute, this shit's by design now. It's like they don't want us to see the whole thing, right?
Dude, once you peel back the first layer of the onion, dude, you just keep digging and digging and digging.
Yeah. And while I think over the last 5 years, man, like you said, how Britain or Europe starts something and then it tries to trickle here to follow up. Mm-hmm. I think that's where people are at now. It's like, hey, like you look at it over the last 5 years, it's like, yeah, man, unfortunately, Second Amendment over there doesn't exist, which that's kind of why we're in last. Because if we do wake up, you don't want to get to that point. But I'm saying there's always fear of that armed.
Bro, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I want you to understand. I am firmly okay with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. You know what I mean? It's I don't. There's 2 reasons why I have what I have. Yeah, number one, because it's fucking fun. And number 2 is because there serves a purpose. And these are conversations I have, obviously, with my wife, my kids, my neighborhood. You know what I mean? You came on my block, man. You got to be careful. The police. I'm very close with the police.
Dude, my whole neighborhood is sheriffs. That's it.
Yeah.
Every third house, there's a unit parked in front of.
Yeah. And most of my neighborhood, man, are all old school people, bro. They've lived here for 3 decades plus.
Yep.
And most of them, before they came here, either lived in the country, they hunt, or they like the same shit that I do.
Yeah. But here's the thing, man. Like, people need to wake up faster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They need to wake up faster because they need to get louder. Because at some point, okay, there is a tipping point here, guys. And the tipping point is us. At the rate that technology and AI is advancing.
Yes.
Okay. And the dangers of AI is not even being talked about. Okay. Especially what they're doing with it on the battlefield. I think that is horrific. Okay. But the dangers here, okay, is that at some point, our numbers will not mean what they mean today.
Yeah.
Okay. So if people don't wake up and get loud, then what's going to happen is people will eventually at some point have to get violent. Okay. And the violence would work at any point until the technology outpaces the number of people. Okay. It's like, it's like a net closing in. Okay. We're probably here, and this is the bucket, but that net can close faster and faster and faster. All right. And here's the thing: people don't think this way. I think this way. Okay. I was very good at any type of strategy game. All right. And to understand strategy, you can't just think about your strategy, because your strategy is meaningless without actually seeing all the pieces on the board and without understanding what the capabilities of your opponent is and what their end goal is. Okay. And if you don't mix all those things together, you will not be able to predict the outcome. And I'm not saying I'm some wizard when it comes to this. I'm not. Okay. But I can connect the dots enough. Anyway, guys, this is our longest Financial Fitness Friday that had nothing to do with money and everything to do with what's going on in the world. But thank you for tuning in and hearing two assholes ramble. All right. Catch you guys next week.
Be great, y'all.